Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kat. As I mentioned last time, I am going through the postpartum care or postpartum confinement. So a lot of my friends don't understand why I cannot go out, why I cannot meet with them. A lot of questions kind of pop out throughout the conversation that I had with them, of course, virtually. So I want to use this video as a chance to kind of tell you what is a postpartum confinement per kind of East Asian or more Chinese definition and how we do such care. As most of you probably know that a lot of women after giving birth, they do have kind of either paid or unpaid maternity leave here in the States at least. But women kind of start immediately become a mom and start taking care of the baby, not themselves as much. This is completely kind of opposite from the idea of the postpartum confinement that our Chinese embrace. And I thought this actually is a very interesting topic to raise awareness of taking care of the mom first before the baby for all the women that are mom to be. So you can probably, try to incorporate a few of those items that I am currently doing into your postpartum care routine. Of course, adjust that based on what your needs are. This is purely based on my experience and what typical Chinese postpartum confinement does. You don't have to, take it 100%. But I think the idea of taking care of yourself, taking care of the mom first is really, really important and should be embraced by this society. I'm 4 weeks postpartum now and going through this whole motherhood. And I think it's not as glorious as you think or magnified by the television. And I want to use possibly some of this channel to kind of share my thoughts and ideas and some of my practices just to bring some different ideas possibly to the platform. If you like such content, please subscribe to my channel so I can provide more of such different opinions to you. Without further ado, let's get started. So what is kind of postpartum confinement? Just based on literally what the phrase means, it's after you give birth, postpartum, and confine yourself in a certain place. So because I'm in the States, there are no such kind of confinement center, or I have to rephrase it as they're very, very limited such confinement or care centers for postpartum women. It is a very, very popular idea or business idea in China or in certain more like Chinese centered populations. When I say limited, because there are some, one example would be this one in New York. It kind of gathered a lot of attention from the Asian population because it's high price tag and kind of the luxury feeling of the postpartum care. I'm not here to tell you that you have to go to such centers. I'm saying that the idea of taking care of yourself is very important. You can totally do that at home, which is what I did or I'm still doing. So how long does it typically take? As I mentioned, I'm already 4 weeks postpartum, right? So it's already been a month. And the most common length of this confinement is a month, which is 30 days. But now there's this growing idea that 30 days is not enough. Because as some of you might know, if you have friends, relatives, or yourself have gone through the postpartum journey, you will know that your postpartum doctor visits is typically 6 to 8 weeks after your delivery. And why is that? Because it takes that long for your body to heal, so the doctor needs, wait all this time to pass to check on your body. So why should us women take less time to take a break? Our uterus literally expands so much during the pregnancy and delivery. It takes time for it to kind of resize and shrink back to normal. So that's why I am doing a 6 weeks postpartum confinement in my house. Because mine was vaginal delivery, so that's 6 weeks. But for C-section, which is a much more intense procedure, then the recommended time is actually 2 months. But because a lot of people cannot actually do that long, they kind of just do it for 1 month. And of course, if you do that in those centers, it already charged so much for a month. You don't want to kind of extend it for another 2 to 4 weeks. So how can you do that in the house? You can have your family member to help you with that, or do that by yourself, or hire a professional. So all these are options for you to do if you want to pursue this route. For me, I'm very grateful that my mom actually came to my house and taking care of me. She does everything that a professional, kind of postpartum doula would do for this postpartum care or confinement. Okay, so once we clear out all these kind of background questions, I want to dive into kind of how I did my postpartum care or postpartum confinement. So I want to talk about this from mostly 4 different parts. And the first 2 are really, really important that I want to emphasize. One is your food or your diet. And second is your personal care. Okay, so these 2 are really the key piece of postpartum care or postpartum confinement. The other 2 that I will touch upon later during the video is more about breastfeeding and kind of get your body back to normal. But those I don't think, are really the critical or the centerpiece of the postpartum care. Okay, chapter 1, food, diet. Okay, this is really, really important because this impacts a lot of not only your body, but if you're breastfeeding, your kids' health as well, because your milk contains all the nutrition that you absorb and pass along to your baby. So when I say food is, you probably have heard that if you breastfeed, you're hungry all the time, and a lot of people might crave, sugar food or a lot of high carb food or high fat foods. That is not recommended, okay? So in my diet routine, for example, it's a lot of soups, it's a lot of well-balanced meals, okay? And there are many meals. So the idea is you should have 3 well-balanced meals, contains protein, vegetables, fibers, carbs. As long as it's well-balanced, it's okay. But this would be recommended in a more soup-based form because you need a lot of liquid to produce breast milk. So for me, for example, for the first week, it's very, very simple soups because the old traditional way of thinking is, after you give birth, you lost so much energy, you need a lot of nutritional food. And when we say nutritional in Chinese, it's, the soup with the whole chicken, eels that we eat. No judgment there, please. But also like a lot of chicken soup, a lot of potentially turtle soup, and a lot of pork rib soup. Basically any meat you can put in the soup, a lot of beef soups. So basically any meat that you can put in the soup, cook with vegetables, it's a lot of, that's highly nutritional, right? But the idea for the first week is for your body to slowly recover. So you don't want such highly nutritional food. You want a more simple food. So you actually want more vegetable-based soup for your first week. And that actually can help you produce breast milk. I don't know why, but that's what happened, and it worked for me actually. So I didn't have any breast milk for the 3 days that I stayed in the hospital, and then came home on Monday. My milk didn't come in until Wednesday. I was very anxious on Tuesday because the baby was starving and we had to buy a can of formula because the formula we brought from the hospital ran out. And we literally only used the formula for the Tuesday night, and my milk kind of came in Wednesday, and it was a lot. I had to keep pumping for the last month, pretty much, 3.5 weeks, and my freezer is pretty much half full, and we have to buy a new freezer to store all the milk that I pumped out. So I definitely recommend vegetable-based clear soup for the first week to really help you recover and help produce breast milk. Along with the soups, because you have 3 main meals, but you are also always hungry because you're breastfeeding. So for me, I pretty much eat every 4 to 6 hours. So for the first week or two, it's more like 4 hours. I was hungry all the time, so my mom would actually get up at like 2-3 a.m. to cook me noodle soups because I was just hungry. Other than all these, main meals, you also have little snacks, and the snacks would also be fruits, for example. So I would have all my fruits boiled. It might be a little bit untraditional, but my mom would kind of, let's say, cut all the apples and take all the grapes or cut all the kiwis and boil them. And then you can pour milk into it, or you add yogurt to it, and then you can eat it as a snack. Another thing I noticed was I drank very little water actually throughout my first 2 weeks, because other than all the soups that you're drinking and all the milk and yogurt that you're having, I'm also having a type of tea, but it's technically a tea or soup or whatever you say it is. That's supposed also to help you recover your body and produce more breast milk, because that's kind of the whole center idea of drinking all these soups, teas, etc. So for example, for the first few days, I had the brown sugar, dates, and ginger drink. All right, you can say it's a drink, you can say it's a soup. So my mom would kind of boil everything and add water to it, and I just drink that. I would drink that throughout the day, and that's for the first few days because that's supposed to be very good for get rid of all the bleeding that you have. And after that, I had another drink. Is more black beans. Black beans, another type of grain that I don't know how to say in English. And then my mom would, and all these beans and grains are already kind of cooked, but not cooked. I would say it's more like stir fried. Like imagine all these black beans or grains, they're still in the package, and you just kind of wash them and you kind of stir fry them, okay? And after you stir fry them, you pour them into like a pot and boil it, okay? That's how you make kind of the drink out of it. So all these drinks would kind of continue to come based on how far along you are. So I think the week after I had kind of red bean with a different grain. So it just depends on, when you are at your postpartum weeks, then those drinks also kind of changes. At least that's the recipe that my mom got from her non-experienced doula back in China. So what my mom did actually was she got all the recipe from the doula that she knows from China, and took that with her and just kind of cooked the meal and the drinks. But you can easily find those recipes online if you're more interested. But I have to say, a lot of ingredients are definitely more Chinese based. So if you really want to follow such recipe, you might have to go to Chinatown a lot and get all these ingredients. At least that's what we did. And one last thing on the food part is, do not starve yourself, okay? Don't think that, oh, I still have such a huge belly. I want to starve myself and get my body back to shape as soon as possible. Please don't. I mean, it's your body, it's still healing. I mean, you've gone through 9-10 months of pregnancy and delivery. It's a huge, if not traumatic experience. So let your body take a break. Eat whatever you want. No, not eat whatever you want. Eat a nutritious, balanced meal, okay? So if you're interested in those menus, just look it up online. I'm sure there is one, and if I can find one in English, I would also post it here. One last tip if you're breastfeeding is, don't drink coffee or tea throughout the first month, because all these would pass down to your baby, but also it would make your body a little bit more burdensome. So just try to avoid those. If you're tired, take a nap if possible. The second big topic, as I said, is the personal care. So that's definitely very contradictory to what Western culture believes, or at least the Western culture practices. I've seen so many videos that those moms, regardless what type of delivery they did, they go home and they handle the baby. That's all they do. They do the dishes, they do the laundries. They don't have a equal partner, so they have to do all the chores. But even they have an equal partner, I mean, motherhood is not, or parenthood is not an equal thing, right? You have to breastfeed. You are the mother of the child, so you kind of naturally take on a lot more responsibilities. But keep in mind that you can do all these responsibilities after your postpartum care, confinement period of time, okay? If you can do that for a month, do it. If you can do that for 6-8 weeks, do it. Really based on your personal choice, but I would highly recommend that just allow yourself to be spoiled for a month and let your husbands, let your significant other take care of you, let your family take care of you for a month, okay? Because that month can go a very, very long way. After that confinement time, you can handle the baby, you can hug them, you can take them out anytime you want. But that month, the first month, is really for you, okay? So just keep that in mind. Don't feel guilty if you are lying on bed and your partner is taking care of the baby. You don't have to do that 100%. Going back to the topic of personal care, one big thing is do not hold your baby for long. If you have to, for example, breastfeeding, you can. But when you do that, use a boppy pillow or use some pillows to kind of support yourself and support the baby, so you use minimal effort to hold the baby. If the baby can lie on the pillow and drink from you, then do that. Just don't try to avoid use anything with strength, okay? And that goes along with don't hold the baby and walk the baby around. The baby is heavy. Try to minimize handling the baby. I know it's hard, again, just for a month. Second, similar idea, do not lift anything heavy, okay? Don't do any chores. Don't take the vacuum and start vacuuming the house. Don't do that. If you have to pick something heavy, ask someone else to do it. Oh, again, this is what us believes, and this is just a recommendation or suggestion. And this is just what I do. And sometimes, again, I cannot help myself to do such things, but I will just tell myself, or my mom would remind me, just this month, just this 6 weeks. After that, you can do all the chores you want. You can hold the baby 24/7. Nobody's gonna stop you. Okay, the sun was a little bit too much. The next thing is do not touch cold water. Do not drink cold water. Do not drink anything cold. Do not eat ice cream, okay? Cold equals no. Anything cold, don't touch it. Don't eat it, leave it. Next is shower, okay? So we believe you should not shower until 5 to 7 days after your delivery. The reasons are, first of all, if you shower, then that means you're standing up, right? So standing for a prolonged time is not very good for your back, for your body to heal for the first week. Second of all, if you shower, after shower, it takes some time to dry yourself up, and you unless you're in a very, very hot place with no AC, you will feel cold, okay? Even, of course, use hot water to shower, you will feel cold. Don't ask me why. I know, because I did not listen to my mom, and I tried to shower at day 4, and I was just shivering. Like, it was so weird. I didn't even wash my hair, okay? I literally just showered my body, and when I stepped out from my shower, I was shivering. And I didn't do anything different from my usual showers. So, lesson learned. You can always, use a towel and put in the warm water, kind of wipe yourself down. And of course, you're changing all your clothes. every day or every few hours. Trust me, because you're gonna have milk everywhere. You are gonna change clothes. So you can always wipe yourself down with hot, warm water every couple hours if you want. Oh, one more thing on the personal care, I almost forgot because I definitely did not follow that, is trying to limit your time on your screen. And that includes phones, tablets, computer, TV, everything with a screen. As you can imagine, I'm on my phone all the time. So I'm definitely not a good follower on that. But for the first, I think 2 weeks, I definitely used my phone very, very little because first of all, I was sleep deprived. I mean, I don't even have energy to use my phone. Then, because I kind of learned a little bit more how to handle the baby, how to breastfeed more efficiently, blah, blah, blah. So I start having more time on my hands and I use that on the screen. But just don't follow that route because I heard, if you stare at the screen for too long, then your eyes kind of get really bad. Anyways, for me, damage is done, but that's a little advice for you. Another thing for the personal care is you're supposed to sleep all the time or at least lie on the bed all the time. You can walk around because otherwise your muscles will be super weak. So you can walk around a little bit after first or second week. But the idea is as long as you're not walking, you're lying down. You cannot even sit for a prolonged time because your back hurts. Of course, again, I'm not a very good follower on that, but I try. Lastly, because I'm in Texas, again, we have AC, we have central AC in the house. So I'm always on, long sleeve, long pants, just to cover yourself and protect yourself because we believe that if you're exposed in all your joints, like your ankles, your knees, your elbows out, all the ACs and cold air would kind of get into it and all the arthritis would hurt you down the road. So just protect yourself. A bit more extreme is put a hat on your head, but as you can see, I don't like hats, so I don't put on hats. But that's what you're trying to avoid. Oh, lastly, I've already mentioned, you are not supposed to go out. That's what confinement means. So unless it's an emergency that you have to go out of your house, then you are limited to where you stay at, an indoor place, okay? So we have a backyard. I sometimes have to take my dogs out to have them do their thing. I will go out very quickly and come back in. The idea is you're not supposed to be blown by the winds because the winds could make you headache and make your body weak. I did go out once in the past month because I had to go to my doctor for emergency. But other than that, I literally stayed in my house for the past month. Okay, I think I will quickly touch upon the other two things that I mentioned. One, breastfeeding, one, body recovery. So for the breastfeeding, as I mentioned, food is the most important thing. You want to eat light soup for the first week and more nutritional soup the weeks after. But other than that, I think the methods really helps. If you can, talk to lactation consultants because everybody's situation is different. I definitely learned a lot. I had a very difficult breastfeeding journey in my first 3 days, well, 5 days. Now I have very good supply and I can breastfeed my baby for a very long time because there are, the manual pump, the automatic pump, there are wearable pumps. There are also the nipple shield for different conditions. There's just a lot of tools out there that you can utilize if you have trouble, producing milk or having the baby latch on your breasts. Internet is a very good friend. So try to use that, and many insurance cover lactation consultants. So that's another good option. Lastly, on the body recovery, of course, I have to say that it is not urgent at all to recover your body within the first 1 to 2 months. But you can do some very, very light exercise or movements when you lie on the bed. So for example, for the first week or so, you can do some breathing exercise through your belly, and that actually really help make your belly smaller. And then gradually you can do a bit of exercise on your legs to raise your legs, to kind of stimulate your lower belly and make it tighter. But again, that is not urgent at all. I think the more important thing is to accept who you are. I mean, you've gone through so much, so all the exercise can come later. And one good thing that I can tell you based on my experience is, yes, right after your delivery, you still have a huge belly. You look like you still have a 6-month-old. But with a good diet and breastfeeding, your body will go back to normal very, very fast. I mean, for me, I'm pretty much back to normal. I still have some mommy belly, but of course, I'm not worried at all. Breastfeeding burns 400 to 500 calories a day. So that means you can eat a lot more than you think. And that's more important. And you being healthy is way more important than going back to shape. Okay, that's it for the video. And let me know if you have any questions about postpartum care or confinement. This is really a kind of popular idea among Chinese communities. I thought it's fun to kind of share with you guys, see how different cultures view the postpartum period of time and the motherhood. Motherhood is hard, and taking care of ourselves should be the most important thing that we do once we become a mom. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you like this video, please thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.